Did you know church is different to any other organisation or group you've been part of? Churches can be a bit like a club, a group of like-minded people who get together to do something that they all want to do. Churches can be a bit like a support group where we help one another to heal and to flourish and to mature in healthy ways. Church can be a bit like a school or something like that, where, at least the disciples were always learning and Jesus was always teaching people. That's a central part of the Christian life. But a church is not like any of those organisations. That's not how the church is described in the Bible. In fact, the most common image for the church in the Bible is a family. And a family is completely different to all those other organisations because it's relational, which we talk about a lot here at our church. But being part of a family also means that you're part of something bigger than you, part of something more important than you are just on your own, part of something that fulfills you and gives you a place, part of something that works because you're part of it. So we see that in Acts of the Apostles in chapter 2 there. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to the fellowship, to the breaking of the bread and to prayer. And you don't devote yourself to things that are less. You devote yourself to things that are important, to things that are greater than you. The church is greater than us. So like marriage, church is something that's bigger than you are. You see, in a marriage, we is more important than me. In fact, to a certain extent, I find me in we. And I don't know if you've seen it, but any marriage where one of them is all about me, it ends up abusive one way or another. So that the marriage, the health of the marriage, I'm happy when my marriage is healthy and happy. And there's a mutuality. I'm part of something bigger than me. And church is like that. We're part of something bigger than us, part of something more important than us. That's the difference between church and a club or a self-help group or a school or anything else. Because when it comes down to it, if a club isn't meeting your needs or isn't the best club for you, you just walk away. If you're not interested in that sport or that activity anymore, you walk away. In small towns, sometimes people will start to pressure people about, you've got to send your kids to the school to keep the school open. But it's not like that, actually. The school's there to serve the kids. But it's the other way around for us. We're there to serve each other. When you see the church as the other people, I'm here to serve the church. It's not like that with a support group. If the support group's not helping you, you walk away. But we help each other and we're part of something that is bigger than us, more important than us. We're devoted to something more important to us. That makes sense when you think about what the Bible talks about, not just in terms of being a family, but submit to one another in the church. We serve and we submit to each other. It's better to give than to receive. There's so many things that make sense of in the Bible, that I'm part of something more important than me. So I want to encourage you, as our church is going through some really interesting times. This year from outside there's been changes and challenges and pressures and crises. That gives us an opportunity to ask, what is important to us? So have you devoted yourself to fellowship? Is fellowship the number one thing on your mind on a Sunday? Teaching, fellowship, breaking bread and prayer. Have you devoted yourself to fellowship? Do you make gathering with God's people number one priority for your week? Do you get things organised on Saturday and Monday so that you can be there on Sunday? Do you make it number one? Are you devoted? The second thing is, I want to encourage you, as our church goes through some change, so now we've only got a morning service, we don't have morning and evening, and for some people that's going to mean they've got a lot more free time. That means we don't have as much on. But I want to encourage you not to fill that with stuff, with activity, with busyness, with shopping, with whatever. I want you to see that Sunday as still a day you can give to the Lord. I encourage you, devote a day to the Lord, to fellowship, teaching, prayer, and breaking bread. Set that day apart and serve and get involved and have people over for lunch and spend some time in prayer and organise to meet someone and read the Bible. Make it a day where you devote yourself to fellowship and prayer and Bible teaching and the Lord's Supper and breaking bread. And let me give you a little personal example. Last Sunday, the first Sunday, we didn't have anything on in the evening. We invited a bunch of young people over for lunch. And because we didn't have to do anything that night, didn't have to go back to church, we could be relaxed all afternoon. And it was great. The guys hung around till 3 or 4 o'clock or something like that. And that was just fine. We had time to relax, time to pray, time to chat, time to play a game. We had a great time, and it was fantastic. And what it meant was you weren't stressed about what you had to get to next, and we weren't overtired for Monday. So I don't know. I want to encourage you. Don't see us not having an evening service as, see it as an opportunity to do more, to devote yourself more to the church, not to devote yourself less to the church.